Not quite 8 miles separates these two powerhouse football programs, a pair of state title contenders kicking off September with a game that has the makings of an instant classic. A pair of teams ranked second in the state at their level squaring off as South Oak Cliff hosts Lancaster on Friday Night Football. And with that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth here in South Dallas. Mike Leslie alongside former Lincoln High and Kansas State linebacker Hackma Harrison. Hackma, this is one of the games of the year on Friday Night Football. A huge matchup between two teams that hope to go chase after state championships this year.
Mike, have I told you how much I love my job? This is one of those times when, like, you put the matches together, and I looked at it in the preseason. I'm like, man, this is going to be a good one. But, man, starting with Lancaster, they're going to be staring across the field at a South Oak Cliff team that they aspire to be like. Coach Paul III, he knows that what Jason Todd has done. Obviously, if you've been from under a rock, you know that South Oak Cliff High School has won 2 consecutive state titles. And for South Oak Cliff, they just feel like, look, this is business as usual for them. They understand the fine-tuning for the playoff run that they imminently look to achieve.
Tonight continues the title defense for South Oak Cliff, a program that's trying to join some extremely exclusive company amongst the teams from here in North Texas that have won 3 consecutive state championships. Those 5 programs on your screen, that is the cream of the crop here in the DFW area. South Oak Cliff has proven they belong in this category, but to join this list, they got to win a 3rd straight. That would put them in legend. That would put them at legend status.
No, absolutely. And when you talk with Coach Jason Todd, he understands that. He is something of a DISD historian. So he knows about the Booker T. Washington team from 1958 and also the Carter Cowboys from 1988. And so when you talk about winning 3 state titles, 3 consecutive state titles, he understands that, like you were saying, is rarefied air for him as a program. And look, man, I couldn't be prouder of a guy like Coach Jason Todd, who has brought all types of pride to the community of South Oak Cliff. And it's reminiscent for me back in my childhood days of those 88 Carter Cowboys, who we know are storied and talked about still to this day.
These are 2 programs that are from neighboring areas. These kids have known each other, Hackma, for a long time and playing against each other since they were probably 6, 7 years old, since Pop Warner Little League football. So there's going to be some emotion in this football game.
Absolutely. And that's going to be the first thing that they're going to have to check is discipline. You want to make sure that this is a clean game. You don't want this to come down to any unsportsmanlike things. And not to say that it would, because both of these programs understand what's at stake. You have number 2 in Division I and number 2 in Division II 5A. So they want to use this as an opportunity to see exactly where they are in the second week of Texas high school football.
Yeah, it's a litmus test for both of these programs. This is a game that's akin to a state semifinal level matchup. It really is. Our players to watch tonight, both on the defensive side of the football. First for Lancaster, Corian Gibson. This kid is extremely highly recruited, on his way to Clemson after receiving offers from every school you can think of.
When I look at Corian Gibson on film, I'm telling you, he just jumps off the screen. This kid is not like your average cornerback, a finesse guy that's concerned about his riz and all of his, all of those things that these young people are concerned with and drip. He's a guy that's out there that's saying, look, I want to come downhill and hit people. And that's the difference between him, and that's why everyone is recruiting him.
I do appreciate the Mr. Seatbelt, though, across his chest, man. He's planning on strapping it down. He's going to be challenged by this South Oak Cliff wide receiving core, and he's planning on locking him up tonight. Meanwhile, for South Oak Cliff, the only starter back off of last year's 2022 Golden Bears defense, Brandon Jones, our player to watch for SOC.
Yeah, Brandon Jones is a tackling machine. Man, I played linebacker, and he's a guy that when you watch him play, he plays it exactly the way that you would like a linebacker to play, C-gap to C-gap, sideline to sideline. The announcer here tonight is going to get sick of saying his name because he's going to have 10 to 15 tackles by the end of this game.
He's a young man that's smaller than he's listed. Listed at 6 foot 190. Coach Todd told us earlier this week, Only about $170, but he plays bigger than he is.
No, I couldn't. When he said $170 on our call, I didn't believe him. I'm like, that kid is at least 225 pounds. That's the way that he plays. He plays big. And so I'm telling you, the University of North Texas has themselves a gym.
Neither of these two teams needs this win for their playoff standings or anything in that realm. This game is purely a litmus test. However, you know both these programs want to be talking trash over the course of the coming week. Who gets to talk that trash, Weibo or Sock? Kickoff is next on Friday Night Football. Touchdown! Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, Stephenville versus Decatur. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
Thanks, Delkus.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
WFAA has a legacy of changing the system.
Most recently, we did a story on ankle monitors and how they don't work and how criminals are committing crimes with ankle monitors. And yeah, there's legislative change coming.
Our 2-year investigation caught the attention of state representatives. Now, it's a crime to cut off ankle monitors.
I want people to see things that we need to hold people accountable for.
Right now in Terrell and in Dallas, your heat index is 107. Everyone in McKinney is dead. It's hot in McKinney. We'll fix that.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
WFAA Sports. To us, it's about so much more than a highlight, wins or losses. It's the heart that makes up the game, the triumph of human spirit, its agony and victory, diehards and day ones. It can divide or unify communities. We give you the stats, but inspire you with the stories, the unpredictable, unforgettable, and incomparable. We bring it to you all because sports lives in all of us.
Discover WFAA Plus, a live 24-hour stream of WFAA news and exclusive digital content, all completely free. Now available on Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. Download WFAA Plus today.
Kincaid Stadium in South Dallas, South Oak Cliff hosting Lancaster on Friday Night Football. Head coaches tonight, first for the Lancaster Tigers, Leon Paul in his 3rd year at the helm. And for South Oak Cliff, Jason Todd, 2-time. That's not Jason Todd. Jason Todd somewhere down there on the sideline, I promise you. But Jason Todd, 45-yard line if you guys are looking for him, left side, fellas. But Jason Todd, the 2-time state champion head coach. You saw him in our open, and you'll see him throughout the evening. There he is, the man they call, they don't call him 2-time. He calls himself 2-time, and deservedly so, after back-to-back state championships. The South Oak Cliff Golden Bears. Captains tonight for South Oak Cliff, Brandon Jones and William Little, their middle linebacker and quarterback. And for Lancaster, Tierick Martin, Cameron Robertson, Kewan Lacey, and Corian Gibson. Looks like South Oak Cliff has won the toss and deferred. And it looks like we will see Lancaster with football first. Indeed. So Heckma Harrison, we get to see this Lancaster offense, a unit that had 9 starters back off of last year's group, take on this South Oak Cliff defense that even despite graduating 10 of their 11 starters, you look around the crop that they've got this year and you see probably 7 or 8 guys at least that are going to go play Division I football on this defense.
No, it's a lot of talent on this field. On the other side for Lancaster, you know that last year was a tremendous disappointment for them in the playoffs. They want to come back and get revenge for that loss to Frisco Reedy. They had Longview in their crosshairs. They felt like, man, if we get a second crack at these guys, that's going to be us. That we're going to get this ability to make a run in the playoffs and potentially play for a state title. So that's all that Coach Paul, that's all his mind is, getting this victory and continuing this winning legacy that they're building there in Weibo Nation.
Eli Besa, the transfer wide receiver, deep to return, as is Ricky Evans. Davion Ennis, deep as well. I beg your pardon. For Lancaster, it's Brandon Henderson, the deep man, as Diego Varela gets set to kick it away for South Oak Cliff, and we are underway here from Kincaid Stadium from the 9-yard line. Making his way right up the middle, a flag flies in from the near side as out to the 29-yard line was Corian Gibson. But it looks like Lancaster's going to be buried deep in their own territory to start this first drive of the night, Heckma.
Yeah, it looked like they have a holding penalty on this side, and already you could tell, boy, they are mixing it up right away on that kickoff return. This is going to be a physical matchup.
It is a holding penalty against the Lancaster return team. That'll dock him 10 yards and bring the football back to the 20-yard line. Robert Fraser, our referee this evening, heading up a 7-man crew. First and 10 from the 20 for Jaquavius Pipkin. The junior quarterback, part of a two-headed monster at the quarterback position. He's got 3 wides to his left-hand side here on first and 10. Quick throw far side. Complete. And a pickup of about 4 in the hands of T. Eric Martin.
That is the guy that South Oak Cliff is going to have to identify where he is at all times. Last year, he burned him. Mike, he had, I believe, over 150 yards receiving, and they couldn't. And that's against a Manny Muhammad-led defensive backfield. So that, just make sure you keep your eyes on number 0, man. He is a spark plug for this offense.
Pipkin rolling out, quick throw down to Markel Porter, and Porter's out to the 40-yard line, got a first down. Good play design there from offensive coordinator Jacoby Brown.
Yeah, you talk a lot about these quarterbacks being the two-headed monster, but they also attack you with both Lacey and Porter out of the backfield.
First and 10 from the 39, they mark it officially. First handoff of the day to Kewan Lacey, and what a move from Lacey into the secondary, will not be caught. 61 yards, Kewan Lacey, touchdown Lancaster.
Kewan Lacey just put my shoes are off. He broke my ankles. Look at this move right here, Mike. Oh, my goodness. What are you tackling? And that's just the air, because Kewan Lacey goes untouched into the end zone. Way to open this game for the Lancaster Tigers. My God, what a move.
1 minute and 5 seconds in, and Kewan Lacey has already put Lancaster on the board.
Man.
That's a special run.
Man, that is one for the highlight reel for Lacey. I believe that was El Amin coming in on the tackle, and it looked like he had him dead to rights for the tackle, and Kewan Lacey just plants a foot and gets back outside. What an amazing run from the senior, 6 foot, 205 pounds, a 3-star athlete. But my goodness, look at this move. That's so subtle and quick. Maybe one person got a hand on him. If this was flag football, even his flags wouldn't have been taken, right? Because that is a big-time run from the running back.
Kewan Lacey a week ago had 2 touchdowns in their win over Skyline to open up the season. He was part of a two-headed monster last year at the running back position. He and Kyson Brown. Brown graduated, so now Lacey becomes the primary back. as you mentioned earlier, Markel Porter. We're going to see a good bit. Zion Stewart, probably a decent bit tonight as well. But Lacey becomes the bell cow this season, the 3-star Nebraska commit. And he showed a little bit about what the Cornhuskers are getting at the running back position with that move.
That's special. You know, when you get a guy that just moves so subtly, and the way that he got down that hash mark, the corners, linebacker, safety, no one could get a hand on him. Just see that burst from him as a running back, man, that is going to make this Lancaster team very dangerous if they can get behind that kind of running. That's just special.
Let us know in the YouTube comments where you're tuning in from tonight. If you've got a favorite player on either of these two teams, perhaps it is Kewan Lacey. Line drive kick taken from the 8-yard line. And here comes Davion Ennis, making a couple guys miss, bouncing off a tackler. He's out across the 30. Ball came out at the end. No signal that he's down. Now there is. They're going to say he was down at the 34. Sock did jump on top of it. So it would have been Golden Bear football either way. And good starting field position for South Oak Cliff as they quickly now need to find an answer.
Yeah, no penalties on that last play on the kickoff. And like you said, South Oak Cliff comes out in pretty good position. This South Oak Cliff offense has to get rolling. I think last week versus Duncanville, you know, a mediocre showing last week, and that's versus a very physical Duncanville defense. So this is a good time for them to get rolling, especially behind their do-it-all running back number 21, Danny Green.
William Little looking near side, complete and bouncing off of tacklers once again is South Oak Cliff's Eli Besa, the transfer in from North Mesquite on his way to Arizona State. And it's a first down out across midfield already.
Yeah, Eli is a special wide receiver, man. He could do it all. He transferred in, and like you said, the Arizona State commit, kid has great hands.
First and 10 at the 49 in Lancaster territory for William Little, the senior quarterback. Quick swing left side. If they're going to give that much space to Ricky Evans, he's going to take advantage of it. Another first down for South Oak Cliff, back-to-back through the air, courtesy of William Little. This time it's Evans down inside the 40 to the 35.
Just a quick route out in the flats. And again, I love this drive, just the way that they've opened. The Golden Bears moving the chains.
Yesenia Torres in the YouTube comment says, "Let's go Tigers." Jamari Thomas says, "Come on, Lancaster." First and 10 to the air once again for Little. Single coverage. That one too far out of bounds. Looking for Besa once again.
Yeah, you have to keep your eyes on number 8. He is definitely a threat and a weapon for South Oak Cliff, a guy that can run the entire route tree. I've seen these kids in 7-on-7 tournaments out in Melissa, and one thing that I saw from this South Oak Cliff wide receiving core, these guys are very efficient. The communication is there, and I think you've seen some maturity from William Little and confidence in his arm.
Second down and 10. Handoff for the first time today to Danny Green. Makes a man miss in the backfield, but good second effort from Cabrion Winston to get him by his shoestrings and keep him from a big gain.
Yeah, Winston coming from the wheel linebacker position. He is one-on-one, and as a linebacker, he has to make that tackle because if he doesn't, they're blocked up good on the outside.
Fought through the stiff arm to make the tackle, just a 3-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Shoestring tackle, but he got it done.
They've got to get right to the 25-yard stripe for a first down. Sox got 3 wides to the bottom of your frame. Motion man across the formation is Ricky Evans. Near side once again for Besa. Got a blocker on the outside. He's got enough for the first down as he dives across that 25-yard stripe.
And you see that from Besa, good hands, but also even better vision. This is like a long handoff for a guy like that because it's all about yak for Eli, man. Once he gets out, man, Coach Samples at Arizona State, he's come in and recruited this kid, and I'm telling you, Besa is amazing with the ball in his hands.
First and 10, flag right prior to the snap. It's going to be a false start against South Oak Cliff. 5-yard penalty will knock him back to the 29-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 15 for South Oak Cliff. Lancaster won this meeting a year ago, 21-3. Handoff here for Little. Looking to get to the outside, Danny Green rather, looking to get to the outside, and again, it's Cabrion Winston. That's an even better play.
Yeah, Cabrion Winston and Green, he's like he's spying on Green. We're going to see this matchup quite a bit. And again, another great tackle from Winston, not allowing Green to get out the back door.
Just a gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 14. Marcus Strickland says, Weebo Nation. Jack Akana Jr. says, what's up, Heckma?
What's up, Jack?
Little with 2 wides to either side. Danny Green will hop behind him to his left. Deep ball. Looking for 2 different wide receivers there and open for the catch, and the touchdown is Ricky Evans. 29 yards on the hookup, and Sock is struck right back.
Now, I was telling you about these guys in 7-on-7. We saw them out at SMU win a championship, and you can see that's just a pitch and catch for Ricky Evans on a fade ball. Man, that's a great route, but even better throw from William Little.
Diego Varela on to try the extra point and knot this game up at 7. The PAT up and through, and we are off to a fantastic start here in South Dallas. Lancaster and South Oak Cliff with matching touchdown drives to open the football game. Ricky Evans finding pay dirt for Sock, and we're tied up at 7 on Friday Night Football.
You need a team you can trust to prepare you for the day.
We are making sure that you have all the information you need.
Looking out for you.
So we do have the heat advisory and the air quality alert in effect for today.
Bold reporting.
Reporting from Plano.
Red flag warning in place.
Dynamic coverage.
Live from Addison.
Original content.
We are staying on top of this story, of course. Be safe out there on the roads. It's going to be a great time.
I am up with Daybreak. What about you?
Touchdown! Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, Stephenville versus Decatur. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+. Back in South Dallas, 7-7 our score through 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Both teams have gone on touchdown drives, and we're evened up at 7 apiece. Varela to kick it away. A short kick up the far sideline. That's a live football. Did South Oak Cliff get on top of that ball? I see 2 orange jerseys and 1 gray. Did Lancaster avoid disaster here?
If they did, boy, they are so lucky because that ball died on the turf.
Whose ball?
Nope, nobody's
Still no
pointing.
signal. South Oak Cliff saying it's Golden Bear football. Leon Paul's trying to make an argument. Lancaster ball.
That ball died right at the 18-yard line.
Kerry Williams came out of the pile with the football in his hand, and he was the one signaling, no, that's Sock ball.
Wow. That's a close one. That looked too close to call. Maybe there was a fight for the ball at the bottom of that pile, and Lancaster, they are lucky to come away with it.
We need to get Leon Paul to take the bar exam, because apparently he's got the ability to make an argument in there in a short period of time and help his team keep the football. 1st and 10, handoff to Kewan Lacey, goes nowhere. It'll be 2nd down and call it 10 once again.
What did I tell you about number 0? This kid is just so special. 175 pounds. Okay, I mean, one of my old coaches, Coach Ricky Lewis, said you don't spell man B-I-G, and that is it right there for my man Brandon Jones. He's not very big, but he is the man in the middle.
They'll officially call it a gain of a yard. 2nd and 9, empty set, quick throw. T. Eric Martin makes a man miss, then a the cavalry came. 3 gray jerseys take him down, but not before he got very close to the sticks. It's going to be 3rd and a yard.
That's the great thing about this kid, Tierrick Martin. We're going to go into the comparisons. You know, this is what we're going to do with these kids. But this guy, man, he is special. And one of his special qualities is the first guy is never going to get him.
3rd and 1. Sock inching toward the line of scrimmage. In the backfield, they get to Lacey. Breaks the first tackle, but cannot get loose. And it's going to be 4th down and 2. He lost a yard. Beg your pardon, it wasn't Lacey, it was Porter.
When we talked with Coach Jason Todd, what did he say about these running backs? We cannot lose leverage on these guys. We can't allow them to get to the outside. He recognizes where the danger is for this running back core, and that's them getting to the outside. I don't think he's as worried about them C-gap to C-gap as he is with them getting on the outside.
So Lancaster forced a punt on 4th and 2 inside their own 30. Jordan Jones back to punt. No rush. And a floating kick fielded and bobbled and dropped. Immediately hit and taken down is Khalil Ewell. They'll call the line of scrimmage the 30. Ewell able to avoid disaster, but gave up a good chunk of yardage in the process.
Yeah, this is not the start that I'm sure Coach Jason Todd wanted for his second drive. The stop that he got, I mean, his defense comes out, they stand up, but that bobbled punt return could have spelled disaster here in the first quarter.
So 1st and 10 from the 30. It was Josh Brown, by the way, from Lancaster, who made the tackle to end the punt return for Ewell. Little will be in shotgun. 2 wides to his left. Looks like it will be Ewell to his right as the running back to start off this drive. Quick swing this way to Ewell. He's got a lot of green grass in front of him across the 30 and the 35 before being bottled up. A gain of 6 on the play.
Again, it's these long handoffs right there. You saw for Ewell his ability to get out into the flat. And it's all about the yards after catch after that for Ewell and picking up some positive yardage. He's having to atone for the bobbled punt return.
2nd and 4. They'll fake it to Ewell. Quick throw near side. Besa makes the first man miss. Eli Besa with a couple of big plays here in the early going. They do not throw the flag on the hit. It was more than anything just momentum, I think, is what they're going to decide here. It was borderline, but no flag flies. You mentioned off the top of the broadcast, just making sure that those moments don't spill over into more is a key thing for both of these teams.
Well, also, you know, the fact that these two teams are very familiar with one another because they played Pop Warner against each other. They have competed for a very long time. These two communities not separated by more than 8 miles. So, hey, family members are sitting on the other side of the stadium because they have children on either team.
Mm-hmm. Nice crowd already on hand, and still people spilling in the doors on the far side. As it's now 1st and 10 for South Oak Cliff. Into the pile, nowhere to go. J.D. Mann's there to end that run before it got any sort of head of steam for Khalil Ewell.
And it's going to be on this Lancaster Tiger defense up front. Davon Berry, J.D. Mann, Jacoby Williams, and Jaden Shaw. All pretty stout. You got 6'2", 6'4", 6'3", 6'2" across the front. And these two teams are built primarily up front. I know that a lot of the credit is going to go to the skill positions, the cornerbacks and wide receivers. But if you look at these offensive line for South Oak Cliff, that's the reason that they have been able to have the success that they've had because of this offensive line.
Jordan Smith-Rowe and Jaden Smith-Rowe, the twin brothers on the end caps, both seniors, 6'2", 290, 295. Whistles prior to the snap and a timeout called by South Oak Cliff. Jason Todd, their head coach, told us earlier this week that the Smith-Rowe brothers are like big Saint. I guess Robert Frazier decided to turn his microphone on for the first time today.
It works.
Boy, that was, yeah, I'd say
Coming
it works.
in hot.
Coach Todd told us earlier this week, the Smith Rowe twins, he said, they're like two big St. Bernard dogs just sitting there. He said that they're the most loyal kids. They are the most dedicated kids. They're always, hey, Coach, what can I do for you? How can I help? He said they are the best kids to coach. He loves coaching those two kids.
No, he did. And we got the biggest laugh when he was talking about that. It's this, man, they're just like two big St. Bernards. They're so friendly and lovable. But when you put a helmet on those guys, they are vicious and coming downhill. He loves those two brothers, and Jayden and Jordan.
Tell you what, I don't want to see a 295-pound St. Bernard. That sounds frightening.
No.
You see it there, a nice crowd here in Oak Cliff. Out of the timeout, it'll be 2nd and down and 9 for Sock. William Little, the senior quarterback, took over midway through the year in 2022 and has really taken on a leadership role ever since, especially this year as a senior. Motion man across the formation. Little's going to keep it himself and nowhere to go. That's going to be a loss of a yard or two.
Initially looked like a busted play. Not a design run, but Danny Green trying to get the block to free William Little. But I tell you what, this Lancaster defense have made some adjustments after that first drive from South Oak Cliff, and they are tightening down the screws.
One key impact in this football game is the absence of Jamiri Cawley, the 4-star wide receiver from South Oak Cliff that's on his way to SMU, not playing tonight because of injury. They tried to run him out there against Duncanville for the first half. They decided at halftime it wasn't worth the additional risk. Knocked away on 3rd and 13 as they tried to find Ricky Evans. It's incomplete, and it's 4th down.
That's that man. He raises up for the seatbelt, but he's letting them know. Corian Gibson, the Clemson commit. Yeah, he straps it. He went ahead and strapped it.
Buckle in, baby.
Yeah, he went ahead and strapped it. He's just letting you know, I'm here. It's going to bring up 4th down.
They're going to go for it here on 4th down and a dozen. That's a decision. They're going to go quick kick.
Okay.
It's Carter Kopecki, the backup quarterback, who is also their punter, backs up into a more traditional punt formation and punts a line drive that'll bounce inside the 20. And that's where Sock will down it.
You got to watch Kopecki because he's an athlete too. So.
Yeah, man. He can make plays for them in the passing game as a receiver as well. That's a young man that you imagine anyway a year from now will be the starting quarterback here at South Oak Cliff. So back comes this Lancaster offense. First and 10 at their own 19-yard line. Again, Jaquavius Pipkin and Carter Jones will exchange at the quarterback position. Here the handoff to Lacey once again, running right side, picks up about 5 on the play.
I cannot wait to see Kewan Lacey in Nebraska red. I mean, this kid is going to get so much better with that weight program. You can already tell. I mean, he's not missing leg day, but the way that he runs, gets to the outside, but he is so tough. He's not one of those guys that you could bring down easy with arm tackles. He's going to run through all of that.
He gets the handoff once again, breaks a tackle in the backfield, but this time has to still fall forward. My goodness, for about 3 on the play.
He's close to the sticks. But again, you're not going to bring him down with the arm tackles. You see right now the South Oak Cliff defense is having to gang tackle number 2. And it's best to get to him early before he gets ahead of steam.
They will officially call it 3rd and 1 as we tick under 2 minutes to play. Straight up the middle and hopping his way over would-be tacklers is Lacey, and he's got enough for the 1st down.
Whew. South Oak Cliff dodges a bullet right here. They get to his legs early. If they don't, that looked like he was going to be off to the races on another long touchdown run.
Again, it's Lacey, and Lacey again has got a lot of space. Out across midfield, Kewan Lacey galloping his way into Sock territory.
It's just, he started early in this drive, and it was just the little things. Maybe it'd be a two-yard gain, a 5-yard gain. It's like little drops in the bucket for him, and pretty soon it just overflows. Love this downhill running from number 2, Kewan Lacey.
They're going to give it to him again. Break it to the outside. Lacey into the secondary. Lacey inside the 30. Foot race down inside the 20. Finally tracked down from behind.
So dangerous. It's so dangerous. Look at that, just hop step. Jump cut on the outside, and again, up the seam. So hard to stop.
About 1,100 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. Let us know where you're tuning in from tonight, as this time it's going to be Pipkin to keep it himself. Gets to the outside. Pipkin inside the 5 and bang down. That's going to be 1st and goal for Lancaster.
Yeah, you just have to respect everything from this Lancaster offense. And Pipkin, it's like a magician back there. He pulls it at the last minute as the South Oak Cliff defense converges down on Markel Porter.
Final 30 seconds of this first quarter. 1st and goal for Lancaster, looking to take the lead back. Pipkin in shotgun. Markel Porter to his left. They will have to snap it before the end of the period. Tierrick Martin in motion. Looking that way for Martin, knocked away. Dangerous pass. Sultan El Amin, the nickel back, with the breakup.
Oh, El Amin. He is a true defensive back, but if he has just another step on that, he is still running to the end zone.
You trust your quarterback if you call that play down by the goal line.
No, absolutely you do.
Whew.
That was dangerous.
2nd and goal, 8 seconds in the period. Handoff Porter. Porter makes the first man miss, but backs his way to the 3-yard line. No gain on the play. And that will bring the opening period to a close. 7-7. Lancaster, courtesy of Kewan Lacey. South Oak Cliff, courtesy of Ricky Evans. And it's a 7-7 football game after 1 on Friday Night Football.
WFAA Sports. To us, it's about so much more than a highlight, wins or losses. It's the heart that makes up the game. The triumph of human spirit, its agony and victory, diehards and day ones. It can divide or unify communities. We give you the stats, but inspire you with the stories, the unpredictable, unforgettable, and incomparable. We bring it to you all because sports lives in all of us.
As we welcome you back to Oak Cliff, 7-7 our score after 1. Lancaster and the Sock Golden Bears evened up. It will be 3rd down and goal from the 3 to start off this second period. What do you like about what you saw through 1 quarter of play?
I think for both teams, they've come out and stayed true to who their identity is, and this is a new look for South Oak Cliff. You're seeing them go to the air a lot more, and it just speaks to the confidence that they have in their quarterback. But on the other side for the Tigers, their identity is Kewan Lacey. They want to get him involved, and then everything else happens after that. You've had Tierrick Martin get in on the action, but boy, do they have some other guys that are really good as well.
I wonder how instrumental this quarter break may have been for Kewan Lacey, because it seemed like he must have been a little gassed after having such a key role in the early portions of this drive, marching them down the field. He was off for that 1st down and 2nd down and goal. Now he's back out there after a quarter break and a chance to catch his wind. I'm thinking number 2 might get the football, and sure enough, in there is Wildcat quarterback. They will do this from time to time. 2's going to take the snap from center. Got a lead blocker in front of him. Lowers his shoulder. He will not get there. Down to the 1. It's 4th and goal.
Will they go for it on 4th down? And if you're Keywan Lacey, he's like, look, man, my back is hurting from carrying these 2 drives. Don't let me get down here to the red zone and let another guy get this in the end zone. They're going to put it in number 2's hands.
They're not doing anything different. Still in Wildcat quarterback. Same deal. Up over top and in. Keywan Lacey skying for 6.
That's how you deliver the mail right there for number 2, Keywan Lacey. Like I said, man, this guy's got to wear a back brace. He's been carrying this team in this entire drive and capped it off with a touchdown. Loving to see the way that the Tigers have come out, man, and they're just playing aggressive on both ends, getting stops, and when they get the ball, man, they are getting into the end zone.
Lacey took a couple plays to catch his breath, but then right back out on the football field, back-to-back totes, and on 4th and goal, he's in. Extra point up and through, and it is 14-7. Lancaster with the lead here early on in quarter number 2.
WFAA has a legacy of changing the system.
Most recently, we did a story on ankle monitors and how they don't work, and how criminals are committing crimes with ankle monitors. And yeah, there's legislative change coming.
Our 2-year investigation caught the attention of state representatives. Now, it's a crime to cut off ankle monitors.
I want people to see things that we need to hold people accountable for.
Our tally. Keywan Lacey with a pair of touchdown runs here in this first half for the Lancaster Tigers, the number 2 ranked team in 5A Division II, taking on a South Oak Cliff program, Heckma, that is trying to accomplish a piece of history this season, looking to become just the 6th program from North Texas to win 3 straight state championships. Salina, South Lake Carroll, Aledo, Allen, and Highland Park, the only programs from our area to have done it before. Sock trying to join that list as Bason, the kickoff return, going sideline to sideline here, run out of bounds at the 20. And that's where the Sock offense will start. But this is a South Oak Cliff program that when Jason Todd took over 8 years ago, was right about the same time that I came here to the Dallas area. I got here in 2015. That was the year that the Sock students did a walkout, staged a protest of the facilities at South Oak Cliff. To see where they've come from that point, the money they put into that high school to refurbish it, and what they have done with this football program to become truly one of the brand name programs in North Texas. It's remarkable to see the ascent that they've been on.
No, absolutely. And Mike, that whole protest was just about the condition of the school.
That's right.
There was asbestos in the school. The paint was chipping. I mean, just the classroom environment wasn't conducive for learning because the school, it was an old school.
Yeah.
And so I remember doing an interview with Coach Jason Todd when they were across the street from the high school, and they were in a makeshift gym, and he had a vision for what the new South Oak Cliff High School was going to look like. He had a vision for this program, and he stayed true to it. When we interviewed him, I said to him, I said, man, how could you see that in those conditions? And it just shows you his vision.
There was a penalty on the kickoff return that knocked Sock back to their own 5-yard line, but the handoff here to Danny Green will earn them some breathing room out across the 10 to the 12-yard line. But it's remarkable to see how this program has come along. And Coach Todd said, listen, we've been building this state championship foundation for years now, even back before they finally broke through and won back-to-back state titles. They had a 13-1 year a couple years prior, and they were steadily climbing. They were steadily building, and they knew at some point, hey, one of these classes is going to be the one that breaks through.
No, he knew it. He kept chipping away, and he knew that the dam would finally break. And it was all about those playoff games. He kept running into Aledo and finally got over the hurdle in winning that game in the playoffs versus Aledo. And next thing you know, state titles are starting to roll in.
I thought it was really interesting that he said one of the ways that they got past Aledo was to mimic Aledo, in particular the way that they train their offensive line and get their offensive line ready for games and develop them even coming up from when they're younger. He said, we looked at their model and followed that, and that was part of what helped them finally clear that hurdle of needing to beat Aledo on their way to that first state championship. I thought that was a fascinating little behind-the-scenes detail in how they got to where they are now. And now here they are, truly. Are they the most popular high school football program in the state right now? Everybody loves them some sock, and for good reason.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, as they say, imitation is the highest form of flattery. And so when you were talking about those programs that have won 3 state titles, that's where Jason Todd is trying to take this program after winning 2 back-to-back.
Handoff up the middle once again, breaking through into the secondary. The ball come out there. Lancaster's pointing the other direction.
Came out at the end, but it's going to be South Oak Cliff ball.
Yeah, the officials came in real quick to say that the play was over. Oh, I don't know. That ball did come out on that replay, according to what we just saw there from Khalil Ewell, but ultimately it will be 3rd and 1 for South Oak Cliff.
Boy, lucky break right there. Ball comes like right at the end, ball comes out, and that would have been danger zone for South Oak Cliff.
3rd down and a yard. They've got to get to the 28 for a first down. Little will hand off for Danny Green. Danny Green right up the middle. Danny Green in a foot race. Inside the 40, stiff arms his way inside the 30 to the 20-yard line. They're going to mark him out of bounds. Right at the 20, it would appear a big run for Danny Green, and South Oak Cliff's in business.
Look at this hole over here on the left side, and Byron Abner opens up a gaping hole for Green to run through. He has Corian Gibson, a kid that runs sub-10s in the 100. He's gonna walk you down.
Again coming near side with Danny Green. Inside the 10, lowers his shoulder, 1st and goal.
May have a holding penalty over here on the left side.
There's a helmet off from, it is Byron Abner, the offensive lineman you mentioned a moment ago, and the flag is sitting right next to that helmet.
Let's make sure there's no head in there. Goodness.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 11.
Oh, wow.
Half the distance to the goal, the man in the run, 1st down.
It looked like it was Abner and Devon Newman that were tangled up, and indeed, Devon Newman gets flagged. You may see it here. It's outside the frame by the time the penalty actually transpires, but the run plus the penalty, half the distance, and it's 1st and goal at the 4. South Oak Cliff looking to strike right back.
Yeah, if you concentrate on what's going on at home in these trenches, I'm talking about center to tackle. These guys are battling.
Prior to the play, Lancaster calls timeout.
It's a good timeout. I think South Oak Cliff was about to catch these guys off balance.
Timeout. Lancaster as their first team timeout of the half.
Well, I am happy to see that Robert Frazier's microphone is working. For the first few penalties, we had nothing, but it's up and operational now. So this has been a tremendous drive from South Oak Cliff to answer back after Kewan Lacey punch after punch after punch on that previous drive, finishing it off with the 4th and goal 1-yard touchdown run, gave Lancaster the lead back. Now South Oak Cliff with their starting offense, you see there on your screen, they have answered in kind, and it's been Danny Green that's done the damage.
I think we expected this kind of contest, that it would be some back and forth, and I think for the state champs, they have obviously been punched in the mouth here in the first half and have kind of do a little bit of a rope-a-dope trying to get back in this game, because all of the momentum right now is on the side of the Tigers, the way that they're playing offensively and defensively, but loving this drive to begin the 2nd quarter for South Oak Cliff to answer.
1st and goal, about the 4.5-yard line, call it. As Little and Green are there together in shotgun, the 2 senior starters in the backfield. Handoff for Danny Green, left guard, just short of the end zone inside the 1, about a foot short of a touchdown.
And Danny Green thought he scored a touchdown. Look at him on the back of a Lancaster Tiger. Looking to get a score, maybe one more.
He was on the back of Messiah Ballou, but he'll get the handoff once again. This time stood up, falls forward. Going to be a loss of about a half a yard right to the 1 yard line, and it will be 3rd and goal.
Yes, in high school football, there is no review until you get to the state title.
Yes, there are only 12 games all year in Texas high school football that have replay, and that is the 12 state championship games in mid-December at AT&T Stadium. Otherwise, there's just not the infrastructure to support it. 3rd down and goal from the 1. Little and Green once again. Green with the handoff. Flag at the snap. Another flag flies in late in the play. He was short of the line to gain.
I think they got a face mask up here from. Let's see if these are offsetting penalties. Looks like it was offsides and a face mask.
Could
by
both
the Tigers.
be on Lancaster, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Offsides, defense, that penalty's declined. Personal foul, face mask, defense, half a distance to the goal, automatic, 1st down.
That last couple words is the key piece. Automatic 1st down. A fresh set for South Oak Cliff to now try and punch it in from well inside the 1 yard line. A half the distance to the goal penalty in this circumstance doesn't earn you much, but every inch matters. And now they've got 4 cracks from here. Green once again plunging forward. Is he in? Yes, sir. Touchdown, South Oak Cliff.
And that is the answer that you're looking for, Mike Leslie, for the 2-time state champions, as Danny Green is responsible for this drive, and it caps it off with a touchdown. But it all started from that long run from number 21, Danny Green. I love the way that this kid runs. He's so tough. We got 2 really tough running backs, but Danny Green is probably the least decorated of the 2, but boy, a kid that is worthy of getting all the acclaim as the other running back, Lacey, across from him.
Danny Green has been a key back for South Oak Cliff dating back to his sophomore year. This year as a senior, now he gets to be the bell cow, and he ties the game up at 14 apiece mid-2nd quarter here on Friday Night Football. Touchdown! Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, Stephenville versus Decatur. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
North Texas, it's a hot one today. If you're planning on taking the pups out, make sure to protect their paws. That asphalt is going to be hot.
Thanks, Delphin.
Stay tuned for the Friday Night Football halftime show sponsored by Golden Chick. Golden Chick is the perfect post-game destination. Come and see why. We say it's one taste and you're golden at Golden Chick.
14 all our tally midway through the 2nd quarter. Interesting how similar the 1st quarter and 2nd quarter have been so far. 1st quarter, Lancaster drove down the field, scored just 1 minute and 5 seconds into the 1st quarter. South Oak Cliff answered back, scored with 7:47 in the period to tie it at 7 points apiece. Then Kewan Lacey scores just 27 seconds into quarter number 2. Again, 7 minutes and change on the clock when Sock answered back to tie it at 14, and that's where we stand. As Lancaster's return comes out across the 20 to the 21, and that's where the Tigers offense will get back to work. We appreciate you joining us here on Friday Night Football. If you are on our YouTube feed, please click the like button, click the subscribe button, as we will bring you a Texas high school football game every week here on WFAA Plus and the WFAA YouTube channel. 1,300 of you plus watching with us right now. Please share this feed around with your friends and family in the South Oak Cliff and Lancaster communities, the Texas high school football community as a whole.
Oh, I got to thank you guys for riding with us, because this is one of those matchups, boy. If you can sit at the house and watch this one, boy, this is some good football for Friday night lights. As this crowd is steadily trickling in for both sides.
2nd down and 6 here early in the drive for Lancaster. That Sock defense up to the task on this one as the handoff again went to Lacey, but 4 gray jerseys surround him.
Yeah, you have to bottle this kid up. There's no way that one guy can bring him down. So this is going to be by committee all night.
Can I just say, these are 2 really clean-looking jerseys. I like the grays from Sock, and I really like the way the orange pops for Lancaster. This is a A+ uni game.
A lot of drip on the field.
Yes.
As my son would say, I didn't know what drip was until he explained it to me. So
Lacey taken down on the outside. That was a terrific play by Sultan El Amin, and that's going to force a punt.
That's what you needed. If you're South Oak Cliff, you needed your defense to get a 3 and out. And just like that, this South Oak Cliff offense has an opportunity to take a lead with what is about to be 5 minutes here left in this half.
I think Heckma Harrison needs drip lessons from me.
Oh, wow.
4th and 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If there's ever anything I've said on the air that's not serious, it's that. The punt high into the night sky, taken at the 41. Khalil Ewell looking to make up for that bobbled punt earlier. Nice return here at 19 yards into Lancaster territory at the 40.
How about that for Ewell, who, like you said, he's atoning for that earlier bobble. And, man, he is one guy away from taking this one to the house. But Ewell said that on that first one, Mike, I just lost it in the lights, okay? Make up for that.
He did right there.
He did, absolutely he did.
Great field position.
And just like that, the South Oak Cliff offense has themselves some great field position starting out in the Tigers' territory.
1st and 10 at the 40. Low snap, but little able to dig it out. Throws near side. Lots of contact. That will draw 3 flags.
Wow. Somebody keep their flag in their pocket. Why don't you? It's PI.
Demetrio Mendez is going to be the one that gets flagged here.
Pass interference. Defense, number 9. Mobley places, spotted foul. 1st down.
He's got a tough matchup. I'm telling you, this kid, Eli Besa, the Arizona State commit, he is the real deal. And a guy that, quite frankly, Mike, not just his greatest attribute being his hands, but once he gets the ball in his hands, his ability to break away from defenders is really second to none in 5A.
So that'll place the football at the 34-yard line. 1st and 10. South Oak Cliff has not led in this football game. It was 7-0 Lancaster, 14-7 Lancaster on the 2 Kiwan Lacey touchdown runs. The Golden Bears looking to take the lead for the first time. Pressure right up the middle on Little, but he's able to evade it. Fires downfield, single coverage, incomplete. No flag, and you see the signal from the official on the far side that that ball was not catchable, well over the head of both players down there.
Well, that's close, though.
Flags here at the snap prior to 2nd down and 10.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down. Correct. second down.
I think the mic is just on again, off again thing for our referee. He's trying to work out the kinks, man. It's just not happening.
We were here when they were testing it about 6 hours ago, but
and it was working just fine.
It was working then. Obviously, a lot of cell phones and other such interference in the area now, and it's not quite as solid, but it's working. We can at least make out what he's saying. Second down and 15 after the penalty. Little straight drop. Flips it out on the far side, complete, and Khalil Ewell's got some running room. Ewell hurtling his way out of bounds inside the 20.
Goodness. How about that from number 4? A guy that getting the bobble snap, but then just getting out into the flat, making himself visible for his quarterback.
Possible free play here. They do blow it dead.
Offsides, defense, tag, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Makes it 1st and 5. Ball now at the 15-yard line. Darling Nikki in the YouTube comment says, this is a ball game. You're right about that. She also says whoever has the less penalties in this game will be the one who wins this football game. We've seen both teams with their share of them here in the early going.
Can I just say amen, Darling Nikki?
It's a point that you made right off the top of the broadcast, that especially the penalties that are emotion-based need to be kept low. Little looking end zone, single coverage.
Oh, beautiful.
Toe tap on the sideline. Was he in? No.
Oh.
Ricky Evans can't believe
Clay,
the call.
we got to get a replay on that, Clay, immediately. Oh, that looks so...
Oh, that's the correct call.
That is, and he's right there. It was his left foot down first before the right.
Timeout.
That is the correct call. Timeout for injury. There's a player down from Lancaster on the near sideline, out of bounds. Hard to spy a number just yet with him laying on his back, but credit to Don King, the side judge that was right on top of it, saw it perfectly. And indeed, that foot was down out of bounds before the foot inbounds, incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 5 after the injury timeout. The Lancaster training staff huddled around the Tigers player who is down. Apologies, we just can't see through all the bodies around him who it is. Up on his feet and making his way off, but with a little bit of a limp, is Corian Gibson.
Boy,
the
that's
young man
big...
we spotlighted off the top of the broadcast, maybe their best football player.
Mark that one right there, Mike, because if they can't get him back in, that's going to be a big loss for the Lancaster Tigers.
He will have to come off for at least a play because he stayed down, but the way that he is limping his way off, it may be a moment at least before we see Corian Gibson back on the football field. 2nd down and 5 after the injury timeout. Little with 2 wides to the right, flag at the snap.
False start, offense, number 72, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And they get Miles, number 72. 6'5", 310 pounds, and I'm sorry, it's going to be hard to not have the official notice you if you're that big and you move.
Yeah, you're going to see him.
You're going to get a flag, and this is your right guard.
So they gave the 5 yards and penalty yards that they had at the beginning of the set right back. Ewell with the handoff, bounces off a would-be tackler and into the secondary. Khalil Ewell to pay dirt. Touchdown, South Oak Cliff, their first lead of the day.
And just like I said, Mike, when you got to 5 minutes, and South Oak Cliff got the ball back. This was going to be the drive that they needed to get all of the momentum that the Lancaster Tigers stole in that first quarter. Man, what a response by the Golden Bears. And this offensive line on their right side, Miles and Smith Rowe, man, they opened up a big hole for number 4, Yule. Made that look easy.
Extra point from Diego Varela, up and through, 21-14. South Oak Cliff taking their first lead of the football game. Yule racing to pay dirt after he bounced off one of his own offensive linemen. And Sox got the lead here on Friday Night Football. 28-14, our halftime score here on Friday Night Football. The number 2 ranked and 2-time defending state champion South Oak Cliff Golden Bears leading the number 2 Lancaster Tigers at halftime. Mike Leslie and Heckma Harrison back here with you on Friday Night Football. We hope you enjoyed the halftime show. This has been a very impressive performance from South Oak Cliff, especially once we got into the second quarter. Took them a moment to turn it on, and then did they ever turn it on?
Well, I think they were, that first drive by Lancaster, they were on their heels, and they came right back out of the kickoff, and it was Danny Green that got the party started for South Oak Cliff. It's been all him on the ground, but they found some success with their transfer, Eli Besa. That speed on the outside has really opened up a lot of things for the other guys, and it's been a party by committee with these guys on offense. But again, I got to go back to Danny Green. It's been his tough inside running that's kind of opened up things, and that's why South Oak Cliff has a 14-point lead.
Danny Green with 2 touchdown runs, a couple of touchdown pass from William Little to Ricky Evans that got the scoring started for South Oak Cliff, and then Khalil Ewell had the touchdown run in between all of that from about 20 yards out that gave South Oak Cliff what was their first lead of the game, 21-14. Kewan Lacey's been very, very good in the first half for Lancaster. He's got both of their touchdowns, including a 61-yard touchdown run on his very first carry of the football game. But that Lancaster offense seemed to, at some point there in the second quarter, get a little disjointed. They had a couple 3-and-outs back-to-back, and they got caught in the mud somehow.
Yeah, the defensive coordinator for South Oak Cliff, Coach Ward, he made the biggest adjustment. You saw him moving his safeties down in the box a little bit. That took a little bit of that window of opportunity that they had with those short throws, and also the safety over the top on the other side of Tierick Martin. They know what type of threat that he is, and they're not going to let him get the big play and victimize them in the passing game.
Tierick Martin, by the way, while we've got a moment here before this second half starts, is a remarkable story. This is a young man not quite 4 months ago, was shot 4 times, was at a party about 3:30 in the morning. Somebody came in and started firing off gunshots, and 4 of them hit Tierick Martin, hit him in his legs, hit him in his wrist. This is a young man that was taking some time to not relearn how to walk, but to work his way through being able to walk around the track at Lancaster High School, and then eventually skipping, and then eventually finally being able to run, finally getting his way back to the point where he could be on a football field and practice and take hits. It has been a slow march, all with the encouraging of Leon Paul, this Lancaster head coach. The relationship that these two guys have is pretty special, and it's certainly been strengthened over the course of this summer as Tierick Martin has worked his way back from those 4 gunshot wounds. And now here he is out on the football field. Made a huge impact in this game a year ago. Had 2 touchdown receptions in this game a year ago. Had 2 touchdown receptions last week in their opener against Skyline. This kid has had an incredible summer, and now he's getting a chance to see the fruits of all of that work that he's done to get back to this point.
No, he is an electrifying athlete, and Mike, all I can say is he's been blessed with the second opportunity, as you stated, shot 4 times. For him to live through that and have a testimony, I think is the biggest thing. And obviously, God has a plan for his life because, man, not a lot of people make it out of situations like that, let alone 4 months into the future, be able to be down on a football field and displaying his talent. So I know for the whole Martin family, they're happy and fortunate that he survived that. But man, you talk about a story of just overcoming, and that's from Tierick Martin, that is absolutely blessed and lucky to have a second chance.
The word you used, testimony, I feel like is a really good word for it, because Leon Paul has told us in the last couple of days about how that situation has been helpful for the entire Lancaster football program, because he said the other guys on our team have learned from that situation and how to, he said, what happened is going to save some guys' lives within this Lancaster football program, within the Lancaster community as a whole. It's obviously terrible what happened that night, but the aftermath has been made so positive by T. Eric Martin, by Leon Paul, by this Lancaster football program. Yeah. It's a remarkable story.
No, it is. And it's unfortunate that a young man like that has to go through a situation like that. It's all too common, though. And that's the problem that I have with it. You're talking about 16, 17-year-old shot 4 times, and that's not a reality that a lot of people have to live. And it's unfortunate that T. Eric Martin had to go through a situation like that. But, man, I just pray that he's stronger for it, because he's definitely an exceptional student athlete.
As we get back to it here on the kickoff return, it is South Oak Cliff that will have the football first here in the second half, and it is Khalil Ewell on the kickoff return out to the 29-yard line, and that's where the Sock offense will get things started here in quarter number 3. Big moment for this Lancaster defense right now, Heckma Harrison. They need to get a stop.
No, and it's going to start with what they do up front. We were talking about J.D. Mans and how big he is, but J.D. is going to have to do a good job of stomping Danny Green inside. Danny Green's had a lot of success in the middle of this Lancaster defensive line. They've got to figure out a way to get some stops.
So William Little in shotgun, Danny Green to his left here on 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line. Handoff for Green, tripped up in the backfield. If he hadn't caught a hip from the defensive lineman from Lancaster, he had some space.
Mendez and Green have seen a lot of each other tonight, and I know that they're not spying him, but because the edge is, Mendez has the edge responsibility, he's responsible for not letting him out the back door. And, man, that contact between those two has happened a lot over this first half and now starting off the second half of this game.
2nd down and 8. Handoff again for Danny Green on a delayed handoff, this time spinning his way through out to the 33-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 5.
It's a great play design there for South Oak Cliff, bringing their tight end or H-back across, pulling him across and bailing Danny Green right off of his hip pocket.
3rd down and 5. Sox got to get to the 38-yard line for a 1st down. Again, it's Danny Green on the handoff. This time off right tackle, and he's got a I'm not sure if he does. Just shy of the line to gain.
Man, he stepped in. You see the referee step
right. And now they're
right.
signaling 1st down.
Okay, because I'm looking at the ref on the far side, and he stepped right at the sticks for the 1st down, but the chains didn't move. So, again, that's just great running from Danny Green, but I'm also loving the balance for the South Oak Cliff offense.
It was very close, but they say it was enough. 1st and 10, South Oak Cliff right at that 38-yard line. Lancaster up close to the line of scrimmage with their linebackers. They don't blitz. William Little flush to the right side. Flag on the play in the vicinity of holding as Little makes his way out the right side, knocked out of bounds at the 41, but the flag is indeed going to be for a hold.
I think they got a hold. Called him holding number 90. And the ref, just like that, the ref's mic is gone out again.
It's been that kind of night.
It's been an on again, off again affair, right?
Comment from Fred Jones in the YouTube comments. Both these teams can be state champions this year. That is absolutely on the table as a possibility. Both these teams are on the very short list of premium contenders to win state at their respective level. Lancaster at 5AD1, Sock and 5AD2. Quick throw near side. Ricky Evans, stiff arm, makes a man miss out across the 40. Earns back those penalty yards and then some. out to the 45-yard line, and just like that, it's going to be 3rd down and 3.
Boy, Ricky Evans has some jets with him, and that's what I keep calling these long handoffs, because once you get the ball into the hands of these guys, they're going to get you the yak that you need. And you saw right there from Ricky Evans, he's been doing a good job with that. And also number 8, Eli Besa, can't say enough good things about that kid.
You get Ricky Evans the football in space with a one-on-one situation, that's a very difficult tackle to make. And he's able to make the man miss and pick up 15 on the play. Far side complete. Davion Ennis on the receiving end. He'll have enough for the 1st down, and into Lancaster territory goes South Oak Cliff once again.
And what I've been looking for to see if number 8, Corian Gibson, is back on the field. I don't see him, and I think that's going to be the difference for this defense. A lot of their confidence comes from number 8. He's a linchpin for everything they do. Oh, we're back. Microphone's back. Just want to let you know.
Robert Frazier's microphone has been an entertaining piece of the evening. 1st and 10 it will be for Sock at the 43-yard line. But no, to your point, that is a huge development in this game. Victor Lincoln, the 5'11 sophomore, on the near side, one-on-one with Eli Besa. All due respect to Victor Lincoln, Corian Gibson's a 4-star product on his way to Clemson. He is not that. Near side, good running room here for Khalil Ewell. Hog-tied and pulled down, but not before he picks up another Sock 1st down, and they're inside the Lancaster 30, just like that.
What I love about Ewell is he is the change of pace running back to Danny Green. And sometimes the defense, when they get used to a certain running style, gives them the thought in their mind, like, I got enough time to get out to my lane. And number 4 is just a lot quicker than Green getting to the outside. That change of pace is making all the difference right now in this ball game.
Here comes Khalil Ewell once again, getting to the outside. Ewell inside the 15, cut back, flag on the play, inside the 5. Terrific running from Khalil Ewell that does get him in the end zone, but a flag at the 8-yard line is likely going to bring this back.
Oh, Eli, let me teach you a lesson, son. If you hold, don't hold your hands up, because that's going to give the ref an automatic to throw the flag at you, knowing that you held on that play, and that's who they get, number 8 right there.
He tried real hard to sell it. Nope, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Oh, my God.
Besa gets caught with the hold. And
holding offense, number 8. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. So 1st down.
Sure enough, it is Besa, the Arizona State commit, transfer from North Mesquite, who gets called for the hold. It will bring the ball back to the 18-yard line after, tell you what, another terrific run from Khalil Ewell. He is running hard out there. 1st and 10 for Sock at the 18. This Lancaster defense is running out of time to make the stop that they need to make here early on in this 3rd quarter. Quick throw far side and in and out of the hands of the intended target.
That's just a drop right there. Hits him right in and out.
It's Carter Kopecky, the backup quarterback we were talking about earlier, that also will play some wide receiver for him.
Got to get that to Carter Kopecky, an athlete. Guy that has a lot of speed as well. Not able to corral that pass.
2nd down and 10. Ewell again up the middle. This time the Lancaster defense up to the task. Cabrion Winston, a young man who started the night very well, making the tackle there.
Right now, Mike, it's really just South Oak Cliff in the trenches right now that is applying all the pressure.
Big 3rd down here, though. 3rd down and 10. This is field goal range for South Oak Cliff. Diego Varela's got a big leg. They trust him out to about 50 yards. This would be well within that, about a 35-yarder if it were from this current line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 10. Little on straight drop. Forward in the pocket, over the middle, nearly intercepted. Jordan Jones nearly got underneath this one.
God, Jordan Jones was right there and not able to dig that one out. to get the turnover. That was what the Tigers needed. Because like you said, South Oak Cliff has a kicker that has a big leg.
Varela made a couple of field goals a week ago against Duncanville. This one from 35 yards on the left hash, and Varela puts it through. South Oak Cliff grows their lead. Beg your pardon, got a flag on the play. South Oak Cliff pointing Lancaster's direction.
Personal foul, defense, number 11, leaping, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That is a massive penalty.
No, it really is. And I think in the open, we talked about discipline and the things that you needed to do to not cost your team. Lancaster gets a stop, and I think they're okay with giving up 3 points right there. But you're going to put this South Oak Cliff offense back on the field, and with favorable field position, with the ball now being placed at the 9-yard line.
Devon Newman, the senior middle linebacker, called for leaping, trying to block the field goal attempt. And it's a free 1st and goal for South Oak Cliff. Little pressure in his face, evades it, rolling right side, fires over the middle, touchdown! Trey Jackson on the receiving end, and Sock makes Lancaster pay for the penalty.
Trey Jackson is 6'6", 220 pounds. You talk about a catch radius, but also the big man laying out for the touchdown.
There's a player down for South Oak Cliff after the play. It's Jaden Smith-Rowe. He's back on his feet now and looks like he will be able to stay on for the PAT.
One of the St. Bernards. Boy, that's a big old guy right there.
6'2", 290. But it's a 9-yard hookup from Little to Trey Jackson, and all of a sudden it has grown to a 3-touchdown lead for the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears. Varela's PAT is through. No need for a field goal. The penalty puts the Sock offense back on the field. Little and Trey Jackson make Lancaster pay, and it's a 21-point lead for the 2-time defending state champs in 5A-D2 on Friday Night Football. Touchdown! Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, Stephenville versus Decatur. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
North Texas, it's a hot one today. If you're planning on taking the pumps out, make sure to protect your paws. That asphalt is going to be hot.
Thanks, Delkin.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
.28 unanswered from South Oak Cliff to take a 35-14 lead. Kickoff return here for Jabrandon Henderson, trying to find some space out across the 25, but tracked down from behind. And the Lancaster Tigers have found themselves in a hole, Hackman Harrison.
No, they have. It's been because offensively they just haven't had any rhythm. But South Oak Cliff comes right out in the first drive, and due to penalties as well, they're able to clock, and cash in and get points. Unfortunate right now for Lancaster that they are definitely on the ropes. They have to respond right now in the third quarter and put some points on the board.
1st and 10 from their own 26. Low snap, handoff here. Outside is Keywan Lacey. He picks up 7 on the play. Lancaster needs a drive right now.
No, they do, and Keywan Lacey is still dangerous. Just imagine, it's only been a quarter since we seen him ramble off that big run, and it looked like Keywan Lacey was going to do that all night long. Yeah. And like I talked about the adjustments made by Coach Ward's group, they've come out been so stout and tough.
Quick throw far side. Tierrick Martin makes a man miss out across the 40-yard line before 4 or 5 gray jerseys envelop him. But it's enough for a first down.
And Tierrick Martin, I'm watching him on film and just getting prepared for this game. He has a lot of Tavon Austin to his game.
Yeah.
He's small in stature, but really quick and just elusive, subtle, but man, just really fast. This number 0.
Tough throw downfield there from Carter Jones. Good looking ball, but just a bit too high for his intended target, Brandon Henderson, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, you can tell Pipkin, young quarterback, just the junior.
That was Jones.
Yes, Jones, sorry. But Jones, both of these guys are juniors. And Carter Jones, the bigger of the two, 6'3", 190 pounds. Just got to get that throw down a little bit.
Low snap. Digs it out, throw far side. Tierrick Martin, toe tap inbounds. Pick up with 9 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 1. This is a young man that head coach Leon Paul said earlier this week in the article about Martin and everything that he's been through over the course of this last summer. Said if he were 5'11", he'd be a 5-star product.
Yeah, he is a problem up there. A lot of teams in 5A are going to have a problem with this kid. He is quite elusive.
What a run by Keywan Lacey, still going. Lacey still on his feet, and he'll score. Keywan Lacey, a terrific touchdown run. Lancaster with a strike, and they're back in it.
And Mike, what did I say? It looked like in that first quarter he was going to have his way with this South Oak Cliff defense, and that's just a bunch of arm tackles. Guys are just bouncing off of him, and the Nebraska commit is running like the old Big 8 Nebraska running backs from back in the day.
49 yards on the rumble from Keywan Lacey. And Lancaster has found the answer they needed. Midway through this 3rd quarter, this game is still on. Extra point up and through. It is a 14-point game once again. And take another look at Keywan Lacey breaking tackle after tackle on his way to a 49-yard touchdown run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. South Oak Cliff Golden Bears had a shot at him. He said, bye-bye. 3rd touchdown of the day for Keywan Lacey, and we got a football game here on Friday Night Football.
You need a team you can trust to prepare you for the day.
We are making sure that you have all the information you need.
Looking out for you.
So we do have the heat advisory and air quality alert in effect for today.
Bold reporting.
Reporting from Plano.
Red flag warning in place.
Dynamic coverage.
Live from Addison.
Original content.
We are staying on top of this story, of course. Be safe out there on the roads. It's going to be a great time.
I am up with Daybreak. What about you?
Touchdown! Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, Stephenville versus Decatur. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+. 35-21 our score in South Oak Cliff on the kickoff return out across the 25 to the 26 in the hands of Marcel Gibson. And the Golden Bears will take over there, leading 35-21. I did talk with Corian Gibson before the game. He said he and Marcel Gibson are not related, at least as far as he was aware. Marcel Gibson from South Oak Cliff, the sophomore corner, is related to Tayshaun Gibson, who plays in the NFL for the San Francisco 49ers, has had some time with the Cleveland Browns, a couple other teams. Marcel is related to that Gibson, but Corian Gibson said he's not related to the other Gibsons. So
yeah, if you know the Gibson family from the Kimball High School, it's a ton of Gibsons that have come through Kimball High School. Just like if you see someone in Dallas, last name Sasser, they come from the Sasser family from Kimball High School. I bet you they can play basketball. If you see in Eaton playing for Lincoln High School, probably related to Byron Eaton. Okay, there's a long line of athletes that have come through the Dallas Independent School District that are just families that all have that one gene. They can play ball.
1st and 10 for South Oak Cliff. A penalty dropped them back to their own 13-yard line, but Danny Green with a nice run on the first play of the series. Picks up 8 on the play. This is a Lancaster program, heck, but that's kind of trying to follow in the footsteps of what South Oak Cliff has done these last couple of years. And I thought it was really interesting in talking with Leon Paul, Lancaster's head coach, earlier this week, about the parallels between these two programs. In particular, their moments of adversity. For South Oak Cliff, it was right before they went on this run where they've won 2 straight state championships. They lost to Frisco High in the second round of the playoffs back in, let me do my math right here, 2020, before they won state titles in 21 and 22, and now here they are gunning for a 3rd straight state championship. But the fall of 2020, SOC got upset by Frisco High in the second round of the playoffs. And for Jason Todd, he was able to use that as a bit of a motivational factor for his program to get where they needed to be. And now here they are, they've won 2 straight state titles. Lancaster last year, very similar situation, second round of the playoffs, lost to Frisco Reedy in an upset when everybody thought we were going to get Lancaster Longview again in the regional final, and it didn't happen. And Leon Paul said he called Jason Todd for advice this past offseason on how to handle that situation. As the throw comes near side for Eli Besa. But I was fascinated by that, the way that Coach Todd kind of coached the young coach and Leon Paul through, hey, utilize this. Figure out the things that your program needs to do to be able to get over that hurdle and then go make it happen. Yeah,
and I think for Coach Leon Paul, when we heard his story, when he talked about reaching out to Coach Jason Todd, it was his admiration for all of the adversity that he had gone through, and he knew exactly who the guy was that he needed to talk to that was going to help him through that. And Coach Todd told him, it's just not your time. It's not your time yet. And so you have to go through experiences like that, which is going to galvanize your team, fortify your team on certain aspects of your offense and defensive line, which is going to make you better when you get back to the playoffs. And I think he took that to heart, and he's building his team up the right way. But how about that? 2 young coaches. People forget, Jason Todd is a young coach. He's just won 2 state titles. But on the other side for Leon Paul, he understands, like, look, this is the guy that I want to emulate and I want to model my career after because I want to do the same thing here for Weibo Nation.
2nd down and 10. Handoff here for Danny Green. Makes the first man miss. He does a great job of finding the hole. Patient run, and he picks up 7. Sets up 3rd down and manageable here on 3rd and 3.
He's just a tough inside runner, and he's keeping that hand out. He'll stiff arm you, but he's knocking those hands down. Man, it's a great runner. Every time I get an opportunity to see Danny Green play, I come away impressed with him, and it's just the balance right now for South Oak Cliff. I think the way that they're attacking, where they're mixing up a good portion of their run with pass, that's really has Lancaster on their heels.
3rd down and 3 here. Lancaster's defense needs to get off the field one of these times. It won't be this time. Green right up the middle into Tiger territory. 1st down, South Oak Cliff.
And just right up that B gap where they're pushing in between Jernigan and Miles. And this offensive line for South Oak Cliff, I don't know what everybody's been saying about these guys, and maybe there's been a step down. I understand a lot of that defense graduated, and it's okay to say, look, how could they possibly be of that caliber to make it back to state? What I'm seeing from this offensive line is this is what will carry you to the finish line.
Yeah. Listen, I expressed my my questions last week. Besa can't sky and grab that one. Good coverage by Victor Lincoln, by the way, who's in there for Corey and Gibson.
I wasn't calling you out, Mike.
No, listen, I'm volunteering it, because last week after Melissa won as dominantly as they did against Argyle, as the team that was installed as the preseason favorite to win a state championship, as the #1 team in 5A Division II, and I'm sure that was noticed down here in Oak Cliff that was the way the preseason rankings went. Melissa looked fantastic last week.
Absolutely, they did.
Credit where due, South Oak Cliff has looked fantastic tonight. Khalil Ewell has been part of that, and he is again here. First down carry once again as he picks up a dozen.
I'm telling you, it is really change of pace. As people like to always say, thunder and lightning from this backfield. Really, it's just that change of pace that I think has been the difference for Lancaster. Once they get accustomed to a certain pace, Coach Jason Todd brings Ewell in, and man, his burst and his speed, once he gets past the line of scrimmage, is a lot different from Danny Green.
1st and 10, pressure from behind on Little. He evades it. What a job by William Little. Flag on the play behind it all, though. It's going to come back on a hold. William Little did a magic act in the backfield, but according to the officials, he had a little help.
Yeah, too much magic. Too much magic right there for the quarterback, number 18, William Little, but a good job evading that sack.
To go back to our conversation of just a moment ago, I had questions. You lose 10 of your 11 starters off of the defensive side of the ball. I'm not sure where the hole was. Did you see it?
I did not.
Anyway, you lose 10 of your 11 starters on the defensive side of the ball. It's not hard to go, well, how could you possibly replace all that? The answer has been with Brandon Jones, the one returning starter, 3-star prospect on his way to UNT. Jaden Shelton, 3-star prospect with 19 offers, including Michigan, Ohio State, UT, Texas A&M, USC. There's a lot of schools after this young man. Handoff once again here for Ewell, and this time it is handled very well by this Lancaster defense. Demetrio Mendez with the tackle, and it's going to be 2nd down and a country mile here for this South Oak Cliff offense. But Kerry Williams, UNT commit on the outside playing corner. Samaje Gasaway, a young man who wasn't a starter for this team last year, but has been an impact player for them year after year after year. There is talent all over this SOC defense, and it makes you, goodness, how deep were they last year that they had 10 guys graduate, almost all of them playing Division I football, and they just, okay, here's another D1 player and another D1 player and another D1 player. And, yeah, this kid Jamarion Phillips, just a sophomore, but he's probably going to be a D1 guy too. It's ridiculous.
The foundation has been laid in South Oak Cliff. And, you know, the standard is the standard now. And guys have learned how to practice and prepare at a championship level. And what you see, they haven't lost a step.
Yeah.
The thing for me, for athletes like Javon Thomas and Manny Muhammad, that was where my worry was because of
those guys were not just Division I football players; those were elite
difference makers.
Yes,
is what I'm saying. Difference makers, and you thought just from looking at those guys on film and just saying how different they made offensive coordinators prepare for them.
Mm-hmm.
That how do you replace guys like that? And you see it out here right now. I mean, these guys have pretty much made this wide receiver group for the Tigers be really null and void coming into a game where you expected for a lot of their weapons to have big yards by now. The way that they lead up front, they do everything as a unit. Now, I will say this, what they are going to have to improve on is the tackling aspect, because what we saw from Melissa, their running back, is
Nathan Adejokun,
Adejokun, and guys like Peanut, J.K. Abrams. I'm telling you, I love this kid so much. But you get players like that, man, they are a load and really hard to bring down. That's just, look, I know for sure the South Oak Cliff will be up to task to be able to do it. But that's the only thing that I've seen that if I'm nitpicking, that what I can say, hey, that may be the biggest weakness on this defense so far.
It was Josh Brown from Lancaster that was down, had to be helped off, but we'll hope to see number 34 back on the field here shortly. Off of the injury timeout, 2nd and 24 here for William Little. Dancing out of the pocket once again, trying to break contain, fires downfield. Was it intercepted? It was indeed caught, picked off. Lancaster football at the 30-yard line.
There is a flag
there
back
is a
here.
Flag, yep.
And the offense is staying out on the field. I do believe that this is going to be a holding penalty in the secondary.
Which would be a free first down on what was 2nd and 24. It is a holding penalty against the Lancaster defense. That is a debilitating penalty.
Yeah, and I think they got the hold on 6'6", 220-pound Trey Jackson, who I believe William Little was looking down the field at. Flag comes out at the last minute.
Another look at it here. Obviously, you won't see the defensive hold in this frame, but you will see a tremendous, I don't know if that ball may have hit the ground. A tremendous effort at the very least from Lancaster's Messiah Ballou to perhaps catch it, at least convince the officials that he caught it.
He sold it.
But it all is for naught, as the penalty will give Sock a free first down. This is not the right spot, though, for the ball to be. It would have been a 5-yard penalty. The line of scrimmage was way further back. It's like they used the line of scrimmage from where the interception happened. They're going to have to sort all this out.
Yeah, I think they're doing that right now. Going back to the original line of scrimmage. And 15 yards.
Wait, no, 5-yard penalty from the previous for a defensive hold, yeah.
Okay, defensive hold. Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
I'm thinking PI.
But now this line of scrimmage makes a lot more sense compared to where they were. I'm sorry, maybe 10-yard penalty. Regardless, this makes a lot more sense for where it is presently. Saw a comment here from a, I'm not sure if it's a South Oak Cliff fan or not. Chris Bird said, this is not the Sock of last year. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
The Sock of last year was historically good, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That was amazing. Nice run here from Danny Green. Chased from behind. He's going to have another Sock first down. Lancaster is going to rue the day they made that holding penalty, because that was potentially the momentum shift they had been looking for since midway through this second quarter. And because of the penalty, it's all for naught. And now here comes Sock once again, 1st and 10 at the 15.
Yeah, Cabrion Winston laying out, chasing down the play from behind to get a tackle on Danny Green. And I just think it's this offensive line weighing on this defense. They're winning up front.
Green hesitates, backs his way across the 15-yard line, a gain of about 1.5 yards. Yeah, the South Oak Cliff defense a year ago was legitimately historic. That team had premium Division I talent at all 5 defensive back positions, and then at several other spots around the defense as well. That was a special group that is almost impossible to match. But this team is very clearly still very good. As we head to the 4th, they lead by 2 scores, and they're driving for more on Friday Night Football. Touchdown! Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, Stephenville versus Decatur. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
North Texas, it's a hot one today. If you're planning on taking the pups out, make sure to protect their paws. That asphalt is going to be hot.
Thanks, Duncan.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delcas.
42.
Back in Oak Cliff under a full moon. A 35-21 South Oak Cliff lead over the Lancaster Tigers, a pair of teams ranked number 2 in the state. Lancaster in 5AD1, South Oak Cliff in 5AD2 here at Kincaid Stadium South Oak Cliff driving and looking for more. Lancaster desperately, Heckma, needing a stop here.
Yeah, that holding penalty, I think, was the dagger for them, man. That they desperately needed to get the ball back. And
here goes Danny Green right up the middle. Danny Green will not be stopped. Touchdown South Oak Cliff on the very first play of quarter number 4, and that might be the nail in the coffin.
Have I told you how much I like Danny Green? Have I talked about number 21 enough? I've been telling you about how tough this kid has been inside the tackles, and I love the way they mix him in with Khalil Ewell, but he is their bell cow running back, the guy that they get behind, and I'm telling you, I see why Coach Jason Todd loves this kid so much. He is so tough, and you saw it right there, just capping off that drive, and like you said, that may have been the end.
Danny Green hyping up the crowd here at Kincaid, as his team is a Diego Varela extra point away from being able to say they're doubling up the number 2 team at the level above them, the Lancaster Tigers.
Waiting for this kick. I think we're...
Jason Todd is about 15 yards out on the field. You can see him there in your frame standing next to our line judge. Oh, we have a player down on the far side. That's what our issue is.
Yeah, didn't see it initially.
Yeah. Looks like it's a player from Lancaster that is down on the far sideline. Lancaster has had some injuries this evening. We talked about it earlier. Corian Gibson, the young man that we spotlighted off the top of the broadcast, the Clemson commit. We have not seen him in the second half, and this is Jordan Jones, the cornerback opposite him, that has come up with an injury after that Danny Green touchdown run. So Lancaster might well be down both their starting corners.
Yeah, tough injury, and you could tell when Corian Gibson went out, there was just a little bit of dismay on the other side for the Lancaster defense, because that's their guy. That's the guy that really gets things going for them on the outside. He's the identity, basically, of this defense. And when he went down, I think that was where the panic button was hit for the Tigers. And then they lose their other guy on the other side. So not good, hoping both of those guys are able to come back and return healthy. But this is a hot night here in Oak Cliff. And we've seen in the beginning of the season a lot of cramps and guys go down due to muscle cramps, because look, they're just a lot of sweating going on out here trying to replenish those electrolytes, and doesn't look like this Texas heat is going anywhere, as next week promises to be just as hot. Got to tell Pete Delkus to do something about this weather, man.
Dude, it is hopefully going to break soon, but I don't, based on what they're saying, it's not going to be before next week's game. It's at least not as hot as it was last week, where literally teams had to, across the area, push kickoff back by a half an hour or an hour all over DFW. It's at least not that bad, but it's still hot. Varela's kickoff will be taken from the 13 on the far sideline. Brandon Henderson skipping his way out across the 25-yard line. And that's where this Lancaster offense will get back to work, but down 21 once again. Next week here on Friday Night Football, the Stephenville Yellow Jackets, number 6 in the state in 4AD1, on the road to face a Decatur team ranked 7th in 4AD1. A terrific non-district test for each of these two teams. That is next week, a 7 o'clock kick. Our first 7 o'clock kickoff of the season in Decatur next week, right here on WFAA Plus and on the WFAA YouTube channel.
Boy, have I told you how much I love my job. This is one great matchup after another in Decatur, and you know that community is going to be rocking.
Yeah.
You know, anytime we go to those small towns like that, you are a superstar. I mean,
Me? How about you, my man?
No. Oh, they just lined up, Mike Leslie. I'm like, let me just Robin here over here to your Batman. This is crazy.
You know what? You have teed me up perfectly for a talking point that I wanted to get to all night tonight. I wish that you and our listening audience, our viewing audience right now, could have been on the call earlier this week with me, Heckma Harrison, and Jason Todd, the head coach at South Oak Cliff, to hear Coach Todd talk about the impact that this man to my right, Heckma Harrison. Hey, Clay Marshall, let's go ahead and, there we go. Let's turn this light on and show the viewing audience our man Heckma Harrison here, who Jason Todd said he was the model. He was the beacon of hope for kids in this area back in the 90s. I don't know if you guys know this at home. I did know this before Jason Todd told us this earlier this week, as you had told me this about a year ago. He's the first guy that Reginald Samples ever put in Division I football. The very first Division I recruit that ever played for legendary head coach Reginald Samples was this man here, Heckma Harrison. And Jason Todd said, Heckma was the model. He was the beacon of hope for kids in our area, because he said, listen, this area back in the early to mid-90s when you guys were playing high school football, he said it was a tough area, and there were a lot of kids that didn't make it out. He said Heckma was the guy who got out, that did what he needed to do in school, did what he needed to do on the football field, got himself a scholarship to go play at Kansas State. He was the model. He was the beacon of hope, and I'm just sitting there like a proud papa just listening to this conversation. Like, this is so cool, man, because he could not have, as he said on the call, you got to give people your flowers. He gave you your flowers and then some, and it's deserved that the people out there watching know about it, because it was really, really cool to hear.
Yeah, and so the check cleared. No, man, that was absolutely wonderful and a great thing to hear from Coach Todd. Obviously, for me, man, it was during that time. It was just all about just making something of yourself, having a dream, having a vision for your future, and that's what I wanted to do. And so, playing Division I football is what it was all about. And I love the fact that I played for a high school coach in Reginald Samples that absolutely believed in me and gave me the opportunity to be the player that I wanted to be. And it was so many guys that came through Lincoln High School after me that were exceptional. Joseph Thomas is out here, who played at Notre Dame. So many, Grady Brooks, so many great guys that came through Lincoln High School that ended up going to Division I colleges. And you know, Mike, I dedicated myself to it, and you know, obviously my goal was to go on, do bigger, better things, and man, being able to have a job and work in the NFL, do things on ESPN, and be here with you, partner. You know, it's all rewarding for everything that has happened. And like you said, he definitely gave me my flowers, and I was it was a proud moment, man. I'm glad you were a part of it.
It was very, very cool to hear, especially from somebody like Jason Todd, who has accomplished so very much in his own right, both as a player and certainly now, especially in these last few years as a coach. That ball nearly intercepted through the hands of Sultan El Amin and incomplete, and it will be 3rd down and 8. Lancaster's been moving quickly here, Heckma, trying to make something happen, but they need a lot to happen.
El Amin is supposed to be walking into the end zone right now. To tell you, man, us defensive guys have hands a brick. He just can't pull that one down. And El Amin, right place, right time. But I tell you what, I'm super proud of Jason Todd and what he's done. In talking to him and talking about all that he's accomplished. Like I said, that ball should have been caught. There were 2 Tigers down there. Yeah, two Tigers down there and 3 defenders in the area as well. But his ability to get this team and lead this community the way that he has, and just inject that pride back into South Oak Cliff. Man, I'm really proud of him and proud of what he's done. And people don't know, man, Jason Todd comes from a great family. His grandfather was the principal at South Oak Cliff High School a long time ago. Uncles that are lawyers, and man, my family has grown up with his family in the same community for a long time. So I've known Jason Todd for a very long time.
4th down and 8 goes begging there for Lancaster, and they're going to give the football back to Sock, down 21. 9:26 left here in the 4th quarter, and South Oak Cliff is on their way to a 1-1 record to open up this season. We talked about it earlier, the challenging start that they have laid before themselves, same schedule that they ran through a year ago. Duncanville, Lancaster, DeSoto, and Parish Episcopal. Lancaster, the only team they play in the stretch that isn't a defending state champion this time around. Last year they started the year 0-3, and everybody's kind of panicking. They had to come back and beat Parish Episcopal with a late field goal to win that game 31-28. But then they didn't lose again. 13 straight victories on their way to a second straight state championship. This year, a win like this against a program as talented as Lancaster is, that's quite the statement that South Oak Cliff, despite any questions that I may have had, that anybody may have had, this is a very big answer to all of those questions.
You know, and I think it's Jason Todd's ability to just say, at the beginning of the season, I want to test my team. I want to know where we are. And when you put the likes of the Parish Episcopals that has dominated TAPS forever, Duncanville, which a lot of teams will not schedule Duncanville early because it's, what's the point? You ask yourself, because you're going up against such a tough team. But next weekend, versus DeSoto.
Yeah.
That's a DeSoto team that is a state title holder and also very tough up front. They have a great quarterback, great receiving core, and even Tiger Reardon. Man, this guy running back, this defense is going to have their work cut out for them versus a running back like that. They thought Caden Durham was something.
Right.
Yeah, this is another running back, and oh my God, I can't wait to get to that game. That's going to be so
Duncanville, DeSoto?
Oh, that's going to be
buddy,
so good.
Buddy.
That's going to be so good.
While
so
you're
good.
on the topic here, but after this second down play, let's go ahead and show the folks at home our season schedule from this point forward. Second down and 15, the handoff here for Khalil Ewell will go nowhere. J.D. Manns will make certain of that. Here's our schedule for the rest of the way. Stephenville, Decatur, 2 top 10 teams in 4AD1 next week, and a Salina, 2 top 5 teams in 4AD1 the week after. Euless Trinity, the main challenger within district to North Crowley, who jumped up to 15th in the state rankings on the 22nd. Highland Park and Jesuit on September 29th. And might as well just circle October 27th about 15 times over. Duncanville and DeSoto, the 2 defending state champions at the highest level of football here in the state. The 6AD1 champion Duncanville, the 6AD2 champion DeSoto, head-to-head for almost assuredly a district title. That ball is right on target. What a catch, laying out by Davion Ennis, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for Sock. Down at the 15-yard line. This is a terrific throw and catch.
Yeah, it really is. And Davion Ennis is kicking himself because, boy, he had a lot more runway. And that ball just out in front of him. He has to stretch out and can't keep his balance after the catch. Don't forget about that Prosper McKinney, though, also.
Oh, heck yeah. Prosper McKinney on a Thursday night, the very final week of the regular season. A lot of coaches want to play on Thursday to get that extra day to be ready to go for the playoffs, as Green gets jumped on by J.D. Manns there on 1st and 10.
Look at the size of this kid.
He's massive.
Oh, and he just falls with all of his weight on Green. Oh, my God.
It's just all I can see is like a broken collarbone. Like it just feel every time you see a play like that, I just cringe. But yeah, that Thursday, November 2nd, McKinney and Prosper in McKinney at their brand new beautiful, not brand new anymore, I suppose, but yeah, there you go. November 2nd, Prosper and McKinney now both in the top 20 in the state rankings, and I won't be the least bit surprised if those numbers get smaller between now and that game. That will be a heck of a football game. Danny Green wants more. Danny Green's going to get more. Flag on the play. Danny Green found pay dirt again. Would be his 4th touchdown run of the evening. But it looks like it's going to come back, and there is a player from South Oak Cliff who is down as well.
I think that's number 55, Ramsey Brooks.
Bryson Ramsey Brooks, the younger brother of Bubba Ramsey Brooks, who's the kid from Sock who's now at TCU, who's gone viral over the course of the summer for
That's his brother?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so to the Ramsey Brooks household, just whatever you're feeding your kids, just tell me, because I got a high school wide receiver that I'm trying to put some weight on. That clearly they figured out how to put some weight on these young men.
My goodness.
Wow.
Bryson Ramsey Brooks is 6'4", 330 pounds. Back on his feet now with the help of the South Oak Cliff training staff. Jocelyn Shackelford out there with him. Bubba Ramsey Brooks, who is now at TCU. Let me make sure that I've got the height and weight measurements correct here for this young man. He is enormous. And by enormous, I mean 6'5", 455 pounds. That's his little brother. Truly his little brother.
Yeah, look, all I'm gonna say is that they have every chair in their house is fortified, okay? It's a big group. And that's 6'4". That's
6'4", 330, yeah. Yeah, so he's 125 pounds lighter than his brother.
The little brother. That's the little brother right there.
After the penalty, 2nd down and 20. Green's going to get the handoff again, and he says, hey, just let me out the back door. Another flag on the play. We have seen some laundry this evening. It will still be 2nd down, but it'll be 2nd down and about a third of the football field.
I tell you, Mike, when those teams, we're going back to 21 and 22. In 21, South Oak Cliff was a predominantly running team. They threw the ball if they had to, okay?
Yeah.
To get out of a jam, and they won the state title, but I'm telling you, that was not, it wasn't because they had the ability to stretch the field in the air, okay?
Yeah.
Last year, you started to see little by little, they could throw the ball just a little bit more. When I saw them in the 7-on-7 tournament, I said that is going to be the difference with this South Oak Cliff team.
Yeah.
They can throw the ball, and William Little is a lot better back there, efficient in his vision. You saw the way that he scrambled out, but his wide receivers, all of these guys, can run the routes. And with the Eli Besa coming in to South Oak Cliff, I'm telling you, this is a kid that was already 3-star, 4-star guy, the Arizona State commit. Rashad Samples doesn't come in and recruit you unless you're the cream of the crop. And you better keep your eyes on number 8. He could be the difference for the South Oak Cliff squad.
2nd down and 33. What do you draw up? Incomplete, looking for Carter Kopecky. And it'll be 3rd, and now literally a third of the football field. Back to Bryson Ramsey Brooks just for a moment. Montrell Bussey with a comment in the YouTube feed that is worth noting. Bryson Ramsey Brooks at 6'4" and 330 pounds is a sophomore in high school.
No, I don't believe you.
He's a sophomore.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I need birth certificates. I need the birth certificates.
Unbelievable.
With the hospital stamp on it, okay? The state, I need the state seal birth certificate. God.
Kopecky in there, quarterback now. He's going to take it after he faked the handoff to Danny Green. He earns back a couple yards, but it's going to be 4th down and 28, I believe.
Like they're keeping their offense out there on the field, and maybe Little is done for the day as they are giving Kopecky an opportunity at quarterback, the junior.
I kind of wish, just run Diego Varela out there and see if he can kick a 52-yarder. Just because it would be fun to see.
If Varela kicks a 52-yarder out here, we got an assignment for him next Sunday night in New York, okay? just saying. We're going to sneak him on the field.
Are you not fully trusting Brandon Aubrey?
No. You know what? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm hoping that they're trying guys out right now at the start. They got the lights on the field. They can't get in the Ford Center right now, but I hope at least outside. Got to get some guys in to challenge for this. That just makes me nervous, man.
Brandon Aubrey is an incredible story. We're talking about the kicker for the Dallas Cowboys for the uninitiated. Incredible story. But being an incredible story doesn't help you make kicks on Sundays.
No.
But he is an incredible story. This is a guy that 3-4 years ago was sitting on his couch with his wife, out of the game of soccer, was a professional soccer player for a period of time. Didn't work out for him, was supposed to be a really high-level professional soccer player, was a first-round pick in the MLS draft, and it just didn't click for him for whatever reason, never got out of the minor league, basically, ranks in the MLS. And now here comes Diego Varela, right on cue for what will be about a 51.5-yard field goal.
Unbelievable.
Marcel Gibson, the holder, from the left hash from 51 and change. Not enough leg.
Not enough.
5:03 left here in this fourth quarter. And it will go back to Lancaster.
No, you're talking about Aubrey and his story.
Yes. Oh, yeah, just an incredible story. I mean, this guy was out of professional sports, had given up on his soccer career, had gone, hey, I need to go get a real job. And sitting on his couch one day with his wife watching an NFL game, seeing somebody miss a field goal, and his wife said, you could make that kick. And it just sparked something. All of a sudden, he's at a kicking camp, and he shows up to this kicking camp here in the DFW area, and it's him and like a bunch of 10th graders. Okay. He's a grown man, but it's him and a bunch of 10th graders, and so began the march. He ended up in the USFL, spent 2 years in the USFL, won 2 USFL titles with Birmingham, and now has gotten his NFL shot. And the Cowboys certainly hope that it's going to work out. Bit of a chance to be taken on this guy, but they hope it's going to work, and he's going to be their kicker on Sunday night in New York.
I hope it's okay.
10 days from now.
I hope it's okay for me to say that I don't want my kicker to have an interesting story. I don't, because let's say he kicks the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, it's going to be a Disney movie named after him. All right?
Yeah.
Like angels in the outfield, this is something crazy, because this is for a story like that, it's like next level. Who does that? How does a guy go from sitting on his couch, his girlfriend says you can do that, next thing you know you're kicking for the Cowboys? Like, no. I just want a guy, is Justin Tucker, of all the other great kickers in the NFL. This is what I've been doing my whole life. I was born to be a kicker. This is what I wanted to do. This guy had been a kicker since not even high school, middle school.
What was the old Dennis Quaid movie, The Rookie, where he was the pitcher? It kind of feels like that.
Yes. I don't like that. In the movies, they end well. In real life, it doesn't happen like that.
Far side, good throw, but incomplete. The defense got there just on time to knock it away. Good play by Sox Kendrick Carter. And it will now be 4th and 11, and Lancaster's going to have to punt it away, waving the white flag down 3 scores with 3:37 left.
Yeah, no sense in going for it now on 4th down. These guys are pretty much, this game was decided with that first drive in the 3rd quarter. I think they tried to make a comeback there with that run by Lacey. It was tremendous, the run, but after that, South Oak Cliff came right back and answered.
If they could ever have gotten a stop when it was still within that 14-point deficit, that was their opportunity. This punt high in the air and will end up being a -yard punt. You do not see that often.
It's kind of hard to do. But
that punt lost 9 yards.
And punter was hurt on the play.
That is going to be Lancaster's backup punter, because we saw Jordan Jones get hurt earlier. So that's Devon Newman, the senior linebacker, who came on to punt in his place. This has not been a good night for Lancaster as it relates to health.
No.
They have seen some really key pieces, including Corian Gibson, their stud senior who's on his way to Clemson, go down in this game. That's now 3 key defensive players for Lancaster. Gibson, Jordan Jones, the corner, got hurt on that Danny Green touchdown run. Now Devon Newman, their starting middle linebacker. All three have been hurt. We're not sure to what degree or whether they'll be able to play next week. Those are obviously answers we don't have at the moment, but still concerning to see three guys of that import get hurt in a game like this. And here's where it matters for Lancaster. We talk about South Oak Cliff's non-district slate and how difficult that is. Lancaster's got a tough one coming up next week against Denton Guyer. And then after that, this is where Lancaster's schedule differs a bit from South Oak Cliff's. Apologies to anybody who might be listening from the other 6 schools in Sox District, but they're probably going to win all of those games by 3, 4, 5, 6 scores, somewhere in that range, each of them. Lancaster's got a tough district, including a Longview team that is very, very good. Entered the year #1 in the state in 5A Division I. That game's coming up in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think right now, this is a hard game to really judge Lancaster off of because of the way South Oak Cliff came into this game prepared. They did something I think that Lancaster didn't think that they had the ability to do, and that's go in the air and attack them at what they believe to be the strength of their team, which is their secondary. Corey and Gibson going down, I think, makes the difference right there for him, Mike, because it puts some guys on the field that I don't think that you wanted to have exposed. And so you bring up that Longview game. Longview lost to McKinney their first game, so I think that also balances it out for this Lancaster team. It's going to be, man, when we look at the end of the season and go back to this game in particular, I do believe that Weebo Nation is going to be proud of the team that they put into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, no, and not to say that you were saying anything to the contrary, but I just think this is a really, really good Lancaster squad, and Coach Paul has athletes at every position.
4th down, and Varela is going to come on to try another field goal. This one much more reasonable range. It'll be a 37-yarder from just to the right of the middle. Varela, flag on the play. That was a line drive. Lancaster might have gotten a piece of it, but a flag prior to the snap.
Like a delay of game penalty. They just want to back Varela up to give him a little bit more.
A little bit more of a challenge. So now call it a 42-yard field goal for Diego Varela, the junior. Feels like he's been kicking for South Oak Cliff for forever. That one a much better kick, but another flag. Now what happened? A false start on South Oak Cliff.
All right. So this just keeps getting better and better.
This is just practice for Diego Varela.
Now, he has been the kicker for them for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was that kicker in 2021 when they went on their first state title run. From 47, Varela. No good, wide to the left. And it will stay 42-21, but just 55 seconds left in this one now.
So 3rd time not a charm for Varela. Yeah, that's some matchups that I tell you, some big matchups for this Lancaster squad, but on both ends. This 5A playoffs is going to be massive. That Frisco Reedy team that Lancaster faced last season, oh yeah, they're still just as good this season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, 5A in general in North Texas is loaded. 5A D2, you got Sock, you got Melissa, you got Argyle, you got Lovejoy, who's boat racing Argyle tonight, by the way. Or at least last I saw, it was 35-0 at one point. But this area is loaded with 5A talent.
Yeah,
carry there for Carter Jones.
Lovejoy is stacked.
Beg your pardon, Pipkin.
Lovejoy is stacked as well. Like I said, they are on our Argyle, who we had last week. Always a well-coached squad. But right now, they have lost a lot of talent on that team and finding it difficult to replace a lot of the players that they lost. But Melissa and Sock, that's a game that I hope I'm sitting next to you when that one happens.
Final 10 seconds will tick off of this one, and South Oak Cliff has got themselves a statement victory here in week 2, 42-21. Yes, South Oak Cliff is a state title contender once again, looking for 3 straight. And there's a lot of good they did tonight that they can harken back on all through the season, Heckma Harrison.
No, it really is. And I tell you, a complete win tonight for South Oak Cliff. I love the way both of these teams came out and competed. We didn't have a lot of the penalties, unsportsmanlike things going on because you knew it was going to be an emotionally charged game because of both of these communities being so close. And, hey, man, this is bragging rights, okay? So love the way that these guys came out and competed. The sportsmanship was on a whole nother level. It was a tough fought game, but I think for everyone that had their doubts about what South Oak Cliff was going to look like and what the potential was for them, I think they laid a lot of those doubts to rest.
Meanwhile, for Lancaster, 3 touchdown runs for Kewan Lacey. There were definitely good things that the Tigers did tonight and good things that Leon Paul can build on through the course of this season. But they do have to turn right around, face Denton Geyer a week from tonight, face Longview in their most important regular season game 3 weeks from tonight. So there's a lot coming down the pike for them. They need to, first and foremost, as we were talking about just a few minutes ago, figure out their health status because some of their most important players didn't finish this game. That will be an interesting development for this football team as they try to be ready for the 2 huge games that they've got coming in the next 3 weeks.
No, and I trust the coaching staff that they have, and Leon Paul III, who has taken over this job, that Chris Gilbert, who is now the UNT tight ends coach, basically built Weebo Nation into what it is right now to be on the cusp of being that state title holder. But I tell you, this Coach Paul, like you said, he's going to have to get some things right with his health, with the health of this team. But this is a quality squad. Defensively, they showed me a lot. That they went up against a South Oak Cliff team that is completely balanced, and they exposed them in the secondary once those injuries happened.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but after having a chance to see them play 4 quarters worth of football, is Sauk a more complete football team than they were last year? I'm not going to say better, because that defense, matching the defense that they had last year, as I said when we were talking with Jason Todd earlier this week on the phone, that feels impossible to me. Matching that defense, we might not see any team, Sauk or otherwise, at the 5A Division II level match that defense for a couple decades. But they've proven that they're good enough, and the offense, I feel like, has got more this year and is, to your point, more balanced this year. I'm more impressed by South Oak Cliff than I thought I was going to be 1 week ago tonight when we were having this conversation. Listen, Clay Marshall, if you can put us on camera real quick, let me throw my mea culpa out there, okay? I had questions. They've answered them. That's all they have answered in the affirmative on checkbox 1, checkbox 2, checkbox 3. South Oak Cliff is for real again.
Way to fall on your sword, Mike. I like that.
Listen, it's all I can do. When you put a performance like that on the field, what am I supposed to do, man? That was impressive against a team that's ranked 2nd in the state at the level above them.
Yeah.
We have far too soon written the obituary for the South Oak Cliff football program. They're still here. Can we just fast forward to the regional final, them and Melissa right now? Because my word, do I want to see that football game. But yes, whatever eulogy was written for South Oak Cliff, erase the whole flippin' thing right now. Wipe it clean. This team is back again.
In the spirit of college football starting this weekend, not so fast, my friend. That's exactly what they just did. The Lee Corso pin in your face. Not so fast, my friend. What I think from what you were alluding to, just talking about their offense, it's just the balance that they have now.
Yeah.
But also their ability when they get in trouble, what they're doing on 3rd and long is they're now able to go to the air, not try and pick up everything with those big runs that you're accustomed to from South Oak Cliff. I love the way that they're competing, though, it's a total team effort. They're doing it on special teams. They're especially doing it on defense, but they're built the right way. Their foundation, I think, is there to stay, especially when you start talking about these young offensive linemen, the big bodies that they have up front. They don't just have big guys that can't move. They have big guys that are pulling, big guys that are getting out in front of their running backs. And I think that's the thing that makes them so lethal. They're not one-dimensional anymore. And so with guys like Eli Basa, who I'm really impressed with the way that he played tonight, but even more impressed with guys like Danny Green and Khalil Ewell, that running game is still there for South Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
But now what they have in William Little is his ability to rely on his arm strength, and he's very elusive as well. So, look, South Oak Cliff ain't going nowhere. And might change that 2 times to 3 times. And they're going to have to put a statue, name a street after this man, because Jason Todd is doing something magnificent in South Oak Cliff.
A lot of work between now and then.
Yes.
But South Oak Cliff is every bit a contender this year as they've been the last 2 years. They have not gone anywhere. 3 touchdown runs from Danny Green tonight to lead the way, and Sock gets a 42-21 win over the second-ranked Lancaster Tigers and the level above them 5A D1 to move to 1-1 on the year. For our entire Friday Night Football crew, Director Clay Marshall, photographers Graham Rayner and Guy Opper, digital coordinators Pete Friedman, Jay Wallace, and Paul Wedding, graphics coordinator Emil Moralda, and the one and only, the beacon of hope, Heckma Harrison alongside. I'm Mike Leslie. So long from Kincaid. The final score one last time, 42-21. Sock with the win. All our Friday Night Football broadcasts stream live and are archived in perpetuity on the WFAA YouTube channel and on the WFAA Plus app. This has been a proud presentation of WFAA TV.